to show you the scope of pricing postcards. If you're trying to compete with pricing, it's a losing battle. There's so many out there. There's 10 to 12 million postcards on eBay. Welcome back to SMPostcards. Today, got the normal right down here. The what's sold on eBay real quick. I'll go over some of the cards I sold, what I see, what types of cards are selling for me. And I sold 17 of them. Should go pretty quick. And then I got a deep dive. That's where we get into a subject of a card, type of card, manufacturer, whatever. This is on Cape Cod, Massachusetts postcards. I see a lot of Massachusetts cards, a lot of Cape Cod cards, so I thought I would do Cape Cod just to see a little bit more about Massachusetts. I have a lot of them, so I usually don't pick up or pay a lot for those cards because I just have a lot of them, and there's a lot of them out there. They do move, but the East Coast and the West Coast have a lot of cards in Florida. A lot of cards, so be careful with those bunches. Then a poll that I put out, this is, what is the biggest challenge in reselling postcards? What is the biggest challenge for you? I know what mine is, and we'll talk about that in the poll. And what these polls do is give you an insight that you're not the only one out there doing this. Other people have questions too, and they're trying to get it off the ground, make a little bit of money, buy some postcards, and add to their reselling venture. And these little polls can help you level set that you're not the only one that's struggling sometimes or doing real well. And then I grabbed a couple of viewer comments out of email or YouTube to go over at the end of the videos as normal. But let's go ahead and get into what's sold. First one, I like selling Coast Guard ships. I like pulling these. This is the Cape Edge, USS Cape Edge. It's like a Coast Guard cutter. This is on matte back and front. It's a light card. This is the last one I got of this one that the club printed out. And that sold for $4.75. Next person bought 3 cards. They bought 2 of these. 2 of these cards. The same one. I got one left, I think. And this is USS Decatur. Decatur is a town south of here. I don't know if it's named after that. And then this one is the other version of the Decatur. There's different views. Here's the first one they bought, and then there's the second one. So they're very loyal to their ships, their boats. There's the Navy guys, and they'll buy different views, and they'll go through my store and buy those. But these 3 cards I got $14.25 for. Next one sold for $7.65. This is a Bonnie View Port Antonio, Jamaica. I did a Jamaica video about Jamaica postcards. I always pick up Caribbean. They're not the fastest movers, but you can usually get $1 or more for them if they're a pretty good card. And this is a chrome card of Port Antonio. Unposted, touristy card, $7.65. Next one's a white border card of the Carlton Hotel in Thousand Islands, New York, and Alexandria Bay. It's a white border card. Unposted. The Carlton Hotel and Restaurant. That's what it says right up there. $4.75. Next one is Alcott Garden, Saratoga Springs, New York. It's a divided back card. I can't tell when it was posted, but it's just the gardens. I didn't see much with it. Probably when I counted, just average card. $4.75. Another Coast Guard cutter, chrome card. There it is right there. This is the Tampa, USCGC Tampa. It's a nice Coast Guard postcard. $4.75. This one, I comped this one because when you look at it, you're going to say, wow, that's a great card. It's going to go for good money. There was a lot of these out there. If I remember if this is the right one, it's been a while. It's not that great. And that's what you get with postcard. You think you got a really cool card, going to get a little bit extra dollars out of it. And that. This is the Morning Cell Coffee Stand, French Market, New Orleans. Look at that. It just has a sign. It has everything. The problem is New Orleans has a lot of postcards. And this is a white border card of a coffee shop. $4.75. This is a really cool looking card. There's it's a Peyton Museum, Fort Knox, Kentucky, and it's the OH-6 helicopter exhibit in the Patton Museum. And it's got some little mannequins there, stuff like that. Didn't comp for a lot. There's a lot of A lot of them out there. $4.75. Chrome card, unposted, unused. It's a pretty neat card with the helicopters. I like helicopters. This one sold for $5.75. This is Brookfield, Massachusetts. The Willows. I think that's the Willows right there. It's a road, just a road with willows. I got $4.75 for willows on a road. Anything sells. Another Coast Guard ship, and these are the different people. USCGC Vigilant. Look at that. They take some great pictures. I mean, look at the camera, the contrast, the sharpness. They just do great. Unposted. I got a bunch of these in the box. $4.75. This is the Catholic Church in New Bern, North Carolina. And this is a Chrome card. And it's a vertical card. And remember with churches, what I do, I make sure I get the Catholic Church and I get the town and the city, or the city and the name. So this is probably, my title was Postcard Space Catholic Church, New Bern, North Carolina. That's really all I had to put in there for someone to find this card. And I sold it for $4.75. Next one is another one of those light printed ones of the USS Fearless. Big number on the front. Remember, the club printed these out on lighter cardstock, and it's matte on front, matte on back. That sold for $4.75. This is a chrome card of the USS Edward McDonald. Got some wake action going on. It's going through the water. Chrome card, $4.75. And two more Navy ships. This is the SS Lake St. Regis, around 1918 to 1919. That's a picture that they printed out right there. So these are 6x4 cards, like cardstock. And then this is the, oh, they bought two of these. So they bought two of these of the St. Regis, and I'm sold out of those. Times two, $9.50 for both of them. So my total for the day, which is better than it has been, sales are up and down, guys. Do not bank just because you have a busy day and it drops or something going on. It's just the way things are. There's really not much you can do to turn on a dime sometimes. You can throw sales on, but you're just giving stuff away. So if you can float through these slower times and just ease through them and then get through without doing all these sales and stuff like that. But some people need money, and they got to do stuff to get sales. It's not all eBay, it's not all the economy, the election. All that stuff went through. It's just what people just are not interested at the moment. But they'll come back, they always do. 17 cards overnight for this pull. Total dollars was $87.74. Now that's gross, and that's all the fees taken out and stuff like that. So it's $87.74, and I do gross all the time. I don't try to get all crazy and get down to the last penny because it doesn't mean anything to me. I just want an overview. Am I in the ballpark? So 70 cards, $87.74. Divide $87.74 by 17, and you get $5.16 average sale price gross for these cards. Remember, probably these ships are under a penny for me, and some of these other cards are under a nickel, maybe less. My cost of goods sold for the year on postcards is about 1 or 2%, so I'm averaging pretty good. I did pay up on some cards this year, but overall the average, I'm probably about a nickel or under for most postcards I bought this year and stuff like that. So I do an average. I don't look at every item and see if I made money. You got to have a variety, and you got to pay up sometimes to get those unique cards. That's what's sold. Now we're going to get into the deep dive, and what this is, we go deep. Not real deep, but deep enough to get your curiosity up on postcards on certain things. And I'm starting to get into stuff that I really want to learn a little bit more about, because you just can't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm never going to try. But I continually add to my knowledge, if I remember it, different things. And one of them was Cape Cod. I needed to learn a little bit more about Massachusetts, a little bit about the cities there, Nantucket. Some of the things I get confused sometimes because I live in the Midwest, what's out there and how to market it sometimes. And it's just well-rounded you, I think. But I'm going to talk a little bit. I got 3 little paragraphs, 2 facts on Cape Cod, and then we'll get into the sell-through rate and pricing. I got 8 cards I found from high to low. But while I do that, I'm going to show you some postcards out there that I found for Cape Cod. Here we go. Cape Cod, Massachusetts has a long and interesting history that goes back hundreds of years. Native American tribes like the Wampanoag, I'm going to put that one down at the bottom for sure, lived on Cape Cod for thousands of years before Europeans arrived. They relied on the land and the sea for food and resources. In 1620, the Pilgrims from England landed on the tip of Cape Cod in a place called Provincetown, before they sailed on to settle in Plymouth. They explored the area but didn't stay long because the land was too sandy for farming. In the 1600s and 1700s, Cape Cod became known for fishing, whaling, and shipbuilding. The ocean was a huge part of life there, as the people relied on it for food and trade. Whalers hunted large sea creatures like whales to get oil for lamps, which was a valuable resource back then. The dangerous waters around Cape Cod, though, led to many shipwrecks, and lighthouses were built to help ships navigate safely. By the 1800s and 1900s, Cape Cod began to change a little bit. More of a vacation destination. The sandy beaches, cool ocean breeze, and charming small towns made it popular with visitors. Many families would travel there in the summer to escape the heat. Today, Cape Cod is still known for its beautiful beaches, seafood, and rich history. It's a place where people can learn about the past and enjoy the future. Now I got two facts here about Cape Cod. The great white shark capital of the north. Cape Cod's waters are one of the most densely populated areas for great white sharks in the world, thanks to the thriving seal population. Some people even use shark tracking apps to monitor their movements near popular beaches. Yeah, I don't want to go swimming. I'll leave them alone if they leave me alone. Then the last fact, a 160-year-old message in a bottle. In 2021, a bottle containing a note from 1859 washed up on Cape Cod Beach. The message, written by a fisherman, survived over a century of ocean currents before being discovered by beachgoers. It's now considered one of the oldest messages in a bottle ever found. Amazing. So that's a little bit about Cape Cod. There's a lot of history about out there, fishing and all that stuff, and stories, and a lot of stuff about Cape Cod. But that's a nutshell to get your curiosity up a little bit. But do they sell? Little chart here I use when I go to buy postcards or list them and stuff is sell-through rate. That's the movement of cards through the system. It's just something I use to give me some data, to take the gut feeling out and take the emotions out and say, this is what the data is telling me, does it match what I think? So if I pick up some red ones and the sell-through rate 0 to 3, I know they're going to sit for a while, or I won't list them, or whatever. But I usually work in the 4 to 10% area, average and high. And while I do that, I usually find the very high ones. So I just don't go out searching for the very high ones. They usually come to me while I'm selling the average, and that's what pays the bills. So that's, when you go through the sell-through rate with me here, refer to this chart that I have right up here. That tells me if it's green, I pick it up. If it's red, I try to stay away from it. But you will get some of those, and you should list some of those because it's a variety. You won't get top dollar on them, but there's always a buyer for something out there. If they come in for that, they might buy something else. But if you take sold divided by listed in eBay, so I put out their postcard Cape Cod, and I click the sold button, which clicks completed, and at the top it says 1,200. That's all I do. For the last 90 days, I want to take a snapshot. Is this moving? I'm not worried about 2 years, 7 days, 14. You get down to the, right down to the thing, it's not going to help me. I just want to know if it falls in a range, just in the ballpark. Make it easy. Something you don't want to do something that's really hard because you'll stop doing it. So the sold is 1,200, and then I unclick the sold and completed, and I get 30,000 Cape Cod postcards with in the title or the item suffix Cape Cod. 30,000. So if you take 1,200 divided by 30,000, sold divided listed, times 100, they'll give you a percent. Round up or down, it's a 4% card, and if you look at the chart, it's on the bottom of the average. They're not fast sellers. They do sell, but they're like low and average. They're going to be your average cards. Don't expect them to jump out of the boxes, and don't expect to put $1 million on them. Some of them you can. Real photos, maybe a great white chart. There's certain outliers, those you can get a little bit more money for, and some maybe you get a lot of money, but a lot of them are average is what it's telling me here. But you got to take that 4% and see, is it right? Is my postcard Cape Cod giving me what I want? So Cape Cod is 4%. I put Bar Harbor. I figured that's out east, right? 4%. That's in the ball right there. Then Kenny Bunkport, I think it's out in Massachusetts East Coast, 4%. Nantucket is out there. I put Postcard Nantucket and did the same thing, 12%. So Nantucket's a little higher. That's up in the high, the very high. I would probably say it's high, because there's so many out there. There's different things about Nantucket area and stuff like that. But I know Nantucket, when I see it, I usually raise it up a little bit, or I leave it at my base, and I know it's going to move pretty quick if it's not a normal common card. If it's a little bit different, it might go a little faster. So 4%, you got 3 here, 4%. I would say it's an average card. That's sell-through rate. I'm done. I know I'm going to pick it up. If I see a Cape Cod card, it's going in my bucket. I'm going to bring it home. That's how quick and easy it is. But what price is on there? Prices has a play in sell-through rate. If you raise your price too high, you're not going to sell cards, and the sell-through rate is going to go down. But I kind of keep them separate. So I found 8 here, and we'll go from high to low on what I found out here. And this is just to show you the scope of pricing postcards. If you're trying to compete with pricing, it's a losing battle. There's so many out there. There's 10 to 12 million postcards on eBay, thousands of sellers. So you got to come up with your margin first. What makes your business healthy with a profit, makes you want to do this, and stuff like that on there. So you got to come up with the base. What you're not going to go under. You're not going to promote all 12% just to sell a postcard, because you're giving everything away. You got to come up with a number. Then you go from there. Some cards that I list for $4.75, $5.25, $5.75, they might be selling for $3, but I don't go below $4.75 because my margin's not there. Yeah, it might sit in the box, but it's not hurting me. I only paid a penny or two for it, quarter, and it's just sitting over there. That's fine. I'm not looking to turn this inventory over in 6 weeks, 6 months. Some of the stuff has been out there since 2019. I got rid of a lot of it during Whatnot. When I did that, I cleaned out about a row of boxes and stuff. But they just sit up there. I sell out of those older boxes all the time. Every week I probably pulling out some of the first 10 boxes, the oldest cards I got. They've already got the best ones out of them, but they just sit up there. But the first one I got is a real photo of Cunningham, Massachusetts, real photo postcard fishing cigar. So maybe a cigar boat, Cape Cod. 86.58. That's what I'm talking about. That other niche. That's the real photos, the deep dives, the research, those types of things. I deal with the average cards, divided back to Chrome mostly. But those outliers in that other niche, this might have took a year or 2 or 6 months to sell. But they got top dollar for it. And they put it in an auction and they got 8 bids. I see auctions do pretty good, but I usually tend not to do them. Because people are not going to wait 10 days for it. And I don't like the management of auctions and stuff. But $86 for a real photo Cape Cod. Then you got Whitehorse Beach Station, Plymouth, Massachusetts, Cape Cod, Manomet 1911 postcard. Now this is like a main street or a street. Look at it, it's just a house and a street, but it's got the city name and where it is in the title. It tells a story. Could be a little bit more of a storytelling on there, but $40, I'd sell it. Then you got these lighthouses. So people collect lighthouses. They collect clowns. They collect monkeys, turtles, purple-eyed rhinoceroses, stuff like that. This is a 1940s Highland Lighthouse Tower Overview, Cape Cod, Massachusetts postcard. Got $20 for it. Some of these lighthouses do very well. Not for sure why. I'm not a lighthouse guy, but the one with the black thing on it does pretty good. The spiral paint. And there's different ones. I think there's one in the harbor in Boston. If you get a good one of those, an early one, just what I remember off the top of my head. When I see them, I know. But I can't remember all the lighthouses. So you want to really take a look at these lighthouses and how old the card is. And even a newer one like this from the 1940s, though. It looks like a linen card. Sold for $20. Then you got a post office and general store, South Wheatfield, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Has gas pumps. It's got a flag. This is a common overview of a gas station on a side of the road. $16. It depends on what gas signs out there too. Gas stations, I got a video on gas stations. Then you got Haynes, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, downtown street, old cars, vintage postcard. It's a main street, probably took best offer, $9, $10 on it. Main street sell. I did a video on main streets because I wanted to learn more and share. Then you got North Turrell, Maine, Highland Light, Cape Cod, Barnstone County Lighthouse. It just doesn't read to me. I like reading a story. That's what I'm going to try to do better in 2025. The postcard usually has what you need to start with. Just type what's on the postcard and modify it how you want it. But tell a story is what I tell people. All that cryptic word, keyword stuff and stuff, people are going to turn off. You got to get them to stop scrolling with the good images and stuff like that. Unique title, good price. They'll stop scrolling. And if they read it, it's harder, they'll just move on. The attention span, you got to get them to stop, just like YouTube. You got to get the thumbnail to stop people from scrolling, and you got to put the title, the thumbnail, and the description are all one thing in YouTube. Those are what tie your video together. For this light hold, they got best offer, I think, for $9.99. Probably got $6, $7 for it. Another lighthouse, Cape Cod lighthouses, in my mind. Then you got a multi-view here. It's a large letter. Dennisport, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, large letter linen vintage postcard. It's got some sailboats. It's got the large letter. Look at this one. Most of them sell $4 to $5. This one sold for basically $10, $9.89. So you want to, every time you get one of those, you want to throw them into the comps because some of these are really good. Most are average. You're not going to get a winner every time, but sometimes these you can price up. And there's a couple of them that do very well. So I always check the large. I set them to the side and I do them like all at once. I just go through and comp cards and stuff like that. I don't stop my normal average. I set it to the side so I don't go down the rabbit hole and look for the last dollars and stuff. But this guy got almost $10 for it. And then Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Newborn Bridge, $8. And that looks like a linen card. That's not bad, $8. So Cape Cod, we go from 86 to $7.99, and I'm sure there's some lower ones out there that I don't get into because I don't play in that area. I'm $4.75 and above, basically. But look at that, the price range just goes in there. So you just do a quick comp, see if you're in the ballpark. Come up with I came up with $4.75 base, $5.75, $8.75, $10.75, $12.75. If whatever one it falls close to is what I pick. And if it's over $12.75, most of the time I will set it to the side in my special folder, and I'll do all that research in a couple hours. And when I'm in research mode, I know I'm only going to list 5 to 10 cards because I'm doing research. The other ones I want to get up because you don't want to spend a lot of time with them. I like to have someone can buy a postcard for under $5 with tax and everything. So that's why I'm at $4.75 also. And plus it gives me my margin to pay my bills, my insurance, my taxes, everything like that. If you go low and you're selling at the end of the year, you get that tax bill and you made some profit, you've given that away to eBay and promoted fees and all this other stuff in your time. I'm not spending a lot of time with this on there. I'm doing a lot of different things, and this is kind of running itself. I spend time listing and get things out there and stuff, but it doesn't control my life. I always have time to do other things and stuff like that. Now, if someone's working a full-time job and stuff, it could be difficult with kids and stuff like that, but it gets easier as you go when you set a budget and figure out what you want to do. But the pricing, I'm not going to fight to get a quarter more, 50 cents on a card. I'm looking for, is it going from $4.75 to, $20? That one's getting set to the side. Is it $4.75 and the next one's $7.65? I might put $7.75 on it. I have different little buckets in my head. And why did I come up with 75? I don't know. It's just something I do. There's no magic. It's not going to sell a card faster. There's nothing out there that's going to get you on normal cards, and you're listing from 5 cards selling a day to 50. You can have all these scans, all these titles. You got to be consistent. And also, you're not just selling a postcard. You're selling a service. You got to get a reputation. You got to have variety and quantity. You got to be someone they can work with, someone they can depend on. I have 100%. I will back it up, refund, whatever, to a customer. If they don't like that card, fine, keep it, here's your money. I don't have a lot of that. So I sell a service. I ship 6 days a week, every morning, and I answer the tactful questions that come in. I don't go, someone asks me to buy a postcard for 25 cents less. I don't even entertain those. Those people can go find somebody else to buy it from. I'm not going to go through all that for haggle back and forth for 25 cents. And stuff. The higher price cards, yeah. But that's Cape Cod. Anybody got any history on Cape Cod? Let me know. Send it in to contact@SMPostcards.com. Who knew? Now these polls come out, like I talked about, it level sets you on some things. Some of the newer people or some older people have been doing it for a long time. it helps everybody. It helps me. It tells me where the bulk of people are thinking, and maybe it can change my thinking sometimes. But this one is, what is the biggest challenge in reselling postcards? The top one was finding the valuable postcards. Now you're going to hear a lot of people can't find postcards where they live, but once they get going, they start seeing them. You become aware of them, and you start seeing them. People start know and tell people what you do. When you go to yard sales or estate sales, got any postcards? They'll point them out. Sometimes you can't find them, but they're out there, and we're getting a lot more collections coming out of people's estates than ever before. And we're finding some great albums and stuff like that. Don't be afraid to pay up on some cards for your learning when you first get started. Yeah, I pay really low prices because I know what to pick and I have a lot of inventory. I don't need to pay a lot. I turn down probably more than I buy because I'm not going to pay 50 cents for a card when I got a whole room full of, nickel cards. They got to have something unique for me anymore. So the people know what I'm looking for. Disney, Caribbean, different things, naval ships and stuff like that, or small towns and stuff is what I look for. I want to find like a big batch of trains, 10,000 postcards of trains, or 10,000 postcards of airplanes, or 10,000 postcards of cars. That's what I'm looking for, a collection. If someone popped in for that, I think I would pay almost anything, in reason, for that type of collection, because I just like doing the same thing over and over. But 69% said finding valuable postcards. Competing with other sellers, 15%. Yeah, I'm not worried about what Tom, Joe, Jerry's doing. They can put any price, do whatever they want, promote and stuff like that, knock me down, whatever. When it comes down to it, you got to have followers, you got to have watchers, you got to give them a good deal, and you've got to back up your stuff and have good service. And you got to get the cards out the door. Never ever do I want to hear, hey, has this item shipped yet? That's the worst message I can hear. It's like I let them down. Now some people, like I've said before, if they buy something in the next hour, they say, hey, that's shipped yet. That's over expectations. I don't look at those. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the next day or so, someone said, hey, did you ship this yet? If you get that message, you need to really look at that. You do not want your customers to have any doubt about your service. That's a thing. You will get some people out there, with over expectations and stuff. You just got to level set them and say, hey, it's post office closed Sunday. I'm going to get it out Monday morning. Some people think that you can ship on Sunday. You can. Postcards, you can put them in the blue box, but they're not going to go anywhere. And other was the third one, and the fourth one is managing shipping and handling logistics. Yeah, postcards are probably one of the easiest things in eBay to sell. Trade cards, just put them in an envelope, get an eBay standard envelope label, send it out. It's pretty simple. Just get a bunch of these and use the same stuff. Don't try to get fancy and spend 5-10 minutes putting messages in there. They buy, I ship. They pay, I ship. That's it. I don't go looking at their feedback. I don't care who they are and stuff like that. I don't go looking where there is. It doesn't matter to me. They pay, I ship, and I let it go. And most of the time with postcards, you won't have a problem. My hardest thing to do with postcards is just trying to find variety and quantity. Finding that one large collection. I have enough of the other stuff, but that's really my thing. I'm not worried about valuable postcards. They come to me. Competing with other sellers, I'm not worried about. And shipping and stuff, I got that figured out. Yeah, once in a while I'll stumble and have a problem or something, but not often. But it's finding the bigger collections for a good price just to keep the stock up. But I've gotten over a lot of those hurdles, so I really don't have. I think if I have to say, dealing with that one person every 6 months, that just is a pain. That's probably the biggest hurdle. It takes time, and a lot of times I just refund them and tell them to go buy it from somebody else. But just that one person. But that's working with the public. That's probably me. But once you get into postcards, you're going to get to the top of the hill, and everything else is downhill from there. But you got to climb that hill, and you got to do it in steps. If you miss a step on learning eBay, learning the eras, learning how to pack and ship, learning how to list, and that, you're going to go back to the other steps. You can't miss some of those steps. But once you get at the top, you can go any direction you want. You want to go after manufacturer cards, publishers, artists. You want to get into real photos. That's where you really take off. Don't try to do everything at the first 6 to 8 months. Putting up your first 1,000 cards and selling your first 100 or so. Learn your trade. Learn your skill. And then when you get to the top, you can branch off and do other things. And that's where it gets fun. It gets easier. It really does. So don't worry about it in the beginning. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall. No one's watching you to make mistakes. We're here to help. So, just jump into it. Experience will give you everything. But I got 3 comments from people. Amy says they're very slow at listing. It takes me too long to list each card and cuts into profitability. Yeah, with the average cards, you don't want to spend a lot of time. You got to get a system down. Just think Henry Ford with an assembly line. Scan all your cards, put them in a stack, and then go through each one. I'm not a big sorter, as I've talked about before. I sort as I list so they get a variety up. I don't put all North Carolinas up. I don't spend all the time. It's the same work. Either you do it before or you do it while you list. I do it while I list. Just the way I'm wired. That's what I want. I want to put variety up. So I might have a North Carolina card, a Florida card, a Caribbean card, a car card, a duck. All these are going up, so people are seeing different stuff, and it's hitting different safe searches. So but you're right. You got to get your time, and it will come. Speed comes with experience. Thanks, Amy. Then Pyro Know-It-All, listing, finding and buying, then selling and shipping. All easy in my book, but the listing is never my favorite. Yeah, I think that's a hurdle almost every person is putting the cards up there, listing your items and stuff like that. But you just got to be disciplined and do it. If you really want to do this, list 20 a day, 10 a day. You do 10 a day for 7 days or 5 days a week. That's 50 cards a week. That's like 200 cards a month. Do it for 10 months. That's 10,000 cards. 10 times 2? Or 2,000 cards. That's 2,000 cards that you'll have up that first year. Now, I didn't see really good consistent sales that I really liked until I got about the 5,000 to 6,000 cards, and that was a while ago. And there's a lot more postcards out on eBay right now, so the number could be higher. But 5,000 to 6,000 cards I started selling every day, better than I was before. That was kind of the key, and I've talked to some other larger sellers, and they've kind of said the same thing. So I don't know if that's a thing, but you do 2,000 the first year, that's really good. A normal average person listing cards, I would say, can do 8, and they do it every day, and they're really into it. 8,000 to 10,000 a year is the top. If you're really putting quality up and got the cards, the scans, and stuff like that. You can do more if you got automated systems and stuff, but I'm not talking about that. Just a normal person sitting down doing cards, 8,000 to 10,000 is top. So if you're putting 2,000 to 5,000 a year up, and you got a full-time job and you got other things to do, I'd say that's pretty good. Now, you're not going to sell as much sometimes as others, especially in a saturated market, but you're getting there. And pretty soon you're going to start selling. You're going to get into the groove, and it's going to go. Thanks, Pyro. Then Rebel Depot, being quick and efficient with listings. Easy to get sidetracked when doing research or finding a card that is more valuable than you originally thought. Yeah, set those to the side and do them all at once. Pick out, you got a stack of 10 in a special folder that you're going to do research on. They're not going to sell overnight a lot. Some do, but most of the time not. So you got time. Do your due diligence on those. The other ones, those linens and stuff like that, normal, just bust through them, get the quantity up there, and maybe do 1 or 2 of the research at the end and go down that rabbit hole. But don't stop your listing of the average cards. Just set it to the side. Move the scan or whatever, and you'll get more money. You'll learn a lot more too. You won't be trying, because after a while, if you go down the rabbit hole and you sat there for 2 hours, you're going to look and say, oh, I only listed 5 cards, because you went down 4 rabbit holes. You want to meet your goal and then go do the research, is what I think, is what I recommend. But that's the poll. Now, if any of you guys got any quick questions, rapid fire questions, 1 sentence, just send it in. I'm looking to do like a rapid fire questions. What scanner do you use? What's your resolution? Just real quick questions that I want to put out there, and I want to just answer them. And then other people can comment on how they would answer. So that's one of the things I want to do in 2025 is rapid fire some questions, just real quick, so you can, on your phone, you can just look at it. Oh, you've got a rapid fire one going on. I'll just say the question and my answer, the question, my answer, and just do a video every so often with that. So if you got any rapid fire questions, real simple, 1 sentence, and you're just looking for that answer, send it to me, and I'll do a video, and then everybody can comment and stuff on that. So you can send it at contact@SMPostcard.com. Just put rapid fire in the title, and I'll know that that's what the question is. That's the poll. It comes out every Saturday. So make sure you subscribe and you check for those. And we got, what, about 85 people, 80 people, usually 70 to 80 people. So it's a good mix. Now we're going to get at the end of every long video on Mondays, I do comments. I pull out some comments from email and YouTube. Sometimes I paraphrase some things in the email because they do get longer and stuff like that, and that's what I did with a couple of these. But Dr. Chris, Fossil Forward Finds, said, now Dater Cottage, when I was in Brimfield a couple years ago, and I bought 300, I don't know how many, I bought those big boxes. I bought a truck full of postcards from a lady, and she was from Dater Cottage, which is out there by Syracuse, New York, Chris, I think, out that way. And they're open on the weekends, and they have a lot of postcards in there. And she brings them to Brimfield, and I basically bought all her stock outside that she wanted to get rid of, and they're just average cards, and I did pretty well with those. And I told her one day I'd get out there. But he met the folks from Dater Cottage Antiques and Collectibles at my first postcard show recently, and he says, I know you met them at Brimfield. Yes, I did. One of the ladies there says she saw your pin cushion video, and that some of the ones you showed were actually used for perfume instead. That pin cushion video, that deep dive on that postcard has gotten me so many comments, and I've learned so much. And I think everybody has from the pin cushion. They're called penny pokes, and I didn't know a lot about them. And a lot of people have messaged me and say, now I know what it is. They didn't know what it was. Now we hear that it was used for perfume. I would like to understand more. Do they put, saturate it with perfume? Whatever, it stink and stuff like that. So now it's a pin cushion, penny poke, and it can be used for perfume as well. I'd love to talk to that lady if she I haven't got an email yet, Chris. But thanks for sharing. And the next question is, do you put your sold postcards in your mailbox or bring them to the post office? So when I pack up my cards in the morning that's sold overnight, the next day, do I put them in the mailbox or do I bring them to the post office? Both. I would say 70% of the time they go in the mailbox at the end of the driveway before 8 o'clock in the morning. My driver comes between 8 and 10, my carrier. And I put the flag up and they pick them up. And they've missed once in a while, but not too often. It's pretty consistent they pick them up, and I don't have a problem with that. But also, I go out and do things. I'm retired. During the day, I go out running around doing stuff. And the post office is 8 to 10 minutes away from me. And I have a P.O. box there, and I like the people there, and I bring boxes for Ko-Fi and stuff like that over there to them. Sometimes I'll have them pick it up. Coming into the winter, I usually bring stuff over there. So I'll bring them to the post office, drop them inside. If I'm just driving through, they pick up at 12, 2, and 5 out of the blue box right outside the post office. I'll just drive through and drop them in there. It's no big deal. So either way, but why go to the post office if I've got a lot of things to do? I'll just drop them in the mailbox. My mailbox can fit like 864 boxes and stuff like that, and they'll get those. I've never had a problem, too much of a problem. And then next one is, when someone buys multiple cards and asks for shipping savings, what do you do? They don't get shipping. If it's just an average free shipping postcard, say I sell 10 cards for $4.75 a piece and they're free shipping. I get $50, right? I put them in a box and I ship them out. I got 69 cents for every postcard added into the price, basically. And I'll use Ground Advantage for that. I'll pay $6 to send those postcards. I'll still break even or make a little money there. I don't look to make money on shipping, but that was free shipping. I'm not going to return anything. They buy 3 postcards. I don't have those conversations about combined shipping, refunds, and stuff like that because I have free shipping. And that's why one of the reasons I stayed with it, because I don't have to worry about that. When I did toys and I had packages and they would buy 5 action figures and I put them all in one box, and say they spent $30 shipping and it comes out to be $20 shipping, do you refund them the $10 or whatever? I always did is refund the difference, after I got my cost out and my margin and stuff on there. Well, I didn't do free shipping, but now with most postcards I have are free shipping. I don't even get questions. I don't even do it. I have volume discounts as well. If you buy 3 or more cards, you get a volume discount, so it reduces there. So that's why I say, when they ask me that, very rarely do I get it, but when they do, I say, hey, we have free shipping and we have volume discounts. That's it. That's the end of the message. Less is more. So I don't go back and forth with people. I don't do counter offers. I don't do best offers on most stuff. On $4 postcards, heck no. I'm not going to haggle for 25 cents. I'm not going to haggle for 50 cents. I don't care if I sell it today or not, but I'm not going to spend my time on my phone and just to get a sale and say I sold 200 postcards this week, but you sold them for like $3 or 99 cents. I have my best price. I sell a service as well and stuff. I just don't want to go back and forth. I did that at the flea market for stuff. Just in there. So, but the higher price ones, I'm not stupid. If I have a $70, $75 Halloween card up, and someone asks me, would you take 60 for it? I'll probably take it, because I do have a little bit of padding. I'll go back and forth with something like that, but not for a linen card of a boat in Lake Michigan that I got up for $475. Would you take $450 for this? I'm not going to play that game. Now if they want to buy 20 cards and at $450 a piece, again, I'm not stupid. I'll figure some out, but most of the time I just delete the message. I don't even respond to them because it just keeps going. So no, I do not refund shipping on postcards. And they can leave negative feedback all they want, and I'll just let eBay know that, hey, it's free shipping. They don't know. A lot of people don't know what that is anyway, but it saves a lot of time. Cape Cod postcards. You got some really neat ones. I got an open bucket for show and tell stuff. I just did a video about that a little bit ago. Had 25 of them. I need to catch it before so it doesn't take up the whole video. But a lot of people commented they liked it. If you have anything you want to share, send those questions in, those rapid fire questions. Do you use stamps or eBay standard envelope? Yes or no? Just looking for rapid fire stuff. So if you're sitting at the barber shop or you're sitting somewhere and you just want to look through questions to learn a little bit more, I want to do some rapid fire. Or if someone's asked you a question, what's your biggest question you get asked about postcards? I'll put all that together into a video. And so just send in and put rapid fire in the title to contact@SMPostcards.com. That's all I got for today. Me and Sal appreciate you watching, and don't forget to subscribe. It makes him happy. He's always looking at the numbers, how many subscribers, and I think we're up to over 3,200 subscribers. We wanted to meet 3,000 subscribers in 2024, and we met that. Right, Sal? That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.